Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers. We discuss issues of national interest. There you go. You saw a report, a press briefing by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, almost threatening sanctions against the cable news network. I mean, very, very interesting. And then before then, we also saw reports by one of our correspondents and anchors here in Galaxy, Solomon Firm's report, as Eromo Sele was finally released after being in police custody for 12 days. We also understand that the police actually even wanted to keep him more. These are very interesting times indeed. We have some guests joining us live via Zoom from Calabar, the Cross River State capital. We have Inyobong Udo, a legal practitioner. We also have from the nation's capital, Abuja, we have a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Austin Iwara. He joins us from the nation's capital. And we also have an economist, a chartered economist who is actually very interested in Nigeria's economy and infrastructure, but is also concerned about the security of this country. He will talk to us about the issue of recession. He joins us from here in Lagos via Zoom as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. The technical team, if you can help me, please. Let's see if we can have the entire team who have joined us for this particular Zoom meeting on the screen, so we know where to start. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Let me begin from the nation's capital, Austin Iwara, retired AIG. Let's even begin with the fact that when Eromo Sele was to appear in court, there was a lot of heavy security presence. Journalists were prevented, they were harassed. The family members of Eromo Sele were also harassed. What exactly is going on with our security agencies? To add to that, retired AIGs, the fact that at the testimony yesterday, the army insisted that they shot into the air, but people lost their lives. Also, this week, a newspaper vendor, the DSS operative, says that he shot into the air, but someone was killed. Is that something about the training of our security agents across the nation? AIG Austin, please.
Thank you very much for having me. I think it's better to take these things one by one because these are very sensitive and important national issues. Asking me about security at Eromo Sele's trial, providing the heavy security there, I think this was necessary, considering that this is an individual that has called out for more protests, and I'm sure that the security agencies occupy that place in that number because of the threat to security that he has called out for people to come around the premises or wherever he wanted to continue with the demonstration. And so it was very necessary that not only himself, but people who come to the court, the lawyers and all the people that will work there will be given adequate security. I don't see anything strange about that. I don't see anything strange. And then you talked about, I wanted us to take it one by one. They came loaded. You talked about army officers shooting in the air or something like that at the park. Did I get that? Hello?
The army insisted that they shot into the air, but then lives were lost. I'm wondering if people were in the air. And then we also see that the newspaper vendor in Abuja, the nation's capital, was also shot dead.
Let's take it one by one, please. Let's take it one by one.
Also that he shot
into
the air.
Yes. I think my understanding is that one of the generals did say yesterday that the army went there with both live and blank bullets and shots. If I understand very well, if the newspaper reports are very factual about that. And so where you have soldiers shooting in the air, it could lead to some accidental discharge, and it could lead to bullets ricocheting and hitting some people and getting them injured or even getting them dead. But I have not seen any pictures of dead people. We've been talking about that if there are dead people, they should let us know, let the parents come out, let us see the pictures. What we have seen are videos of people that were shot that day and injured. So I think that there's more to this incident that we know, and I'm sure that the panel in Lagos is doing a good job to unravel it.
So asked about
and you talked about the journalist in Abuja did what?
But maybe we will come back to you. But let's cross over now to Calabar, the Cross River State capital, where a legal practitioner is standing by to also speak with us. Barrister Inyobong Udo joins us from Calabar. Barrister, I believe that you have been following the proceedings and hearings at the Lagos Judicial Panel. It's been a very, very interesting engagement. But what do you make about the Army's testimony?
Well, thank you so much for having me. The testimony of the Army has been quite revealing, and I would say disappointing, because
in Calabar, the state capital. Inyobong, thank you so much, legal practitioner. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, I was asking simply, what do you make of the Army's testimony at the Lagos Judicial Panel just yesterday? They say that they actually took live and blank bullets to the venue of the protest.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we have been following that the testimony of the Army. I would say that the testimony of the Army has been disappointing and inconsistent. Inconsistent in the fact that at first they said they were not there at the Lekki Gate incident, and later they said they didn't carry live bullets at all. They only carried blank bullets. And then when we had the CNN report, they later recanted their testimony and said they carried both live and blank bullets. And they have been contradictory. They have been inconsistent. And in law, usually when a witness gives an inconsistent or contradictory evidence, the court is supposed to reject that kind of evidence because the evidence is not consistent. It's not a truthful testimony. It's not a consistent testimony, and it's not such that it's not a witness of truth. It's not a testimony or an evidence that the court will rely on. So the proper thing is to reject it for its inconsistency, for its contradictions. And it's unfortunate that we've not come clean. The government has not come clean on this Lekki incident. There have been so many back and forths on the issue. The governor said he didn't ask for Army. Army was not there. Later on, evidence showed that Army was there. Army now said they were there. We should be able to take the lives of citizens of Nigeria very, very seriously. And, this back and forth is not encouraging at all. It's disappointing, to say the least, that the lives of Nigerians are being told with. We're not given the pride of place. So that is my thoughts on the panel, especially on the testimony of the Army.
Barrister Inyobong, stay with us. Let's take a breather, gentlemen. We will come back in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right.
Journalist waiting. He was finally released from police custody around 5:30 p.m. today.
Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers. We are live in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, where we have a legal practitioner standing by in Yebong Udo. Here in Lagos, we have a chartered economist also standing by to speak with us on the issues of recession as Nigeria again finds herself in that particular situation. Samson Shoyebi joins us also, and we also have a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Austin Iwara, from the nation's capital, Abuja. Well, since we are still with you, legal practitioner in Yewong, let's stray for a moment and get back and talk about Romosele's bail. I mean, he had to actually pay a bail of about 1 million naira. I'm wondering what exactly the money was meant for.
Well, the court has the discretion to grant bail, and possibly the court considered the facts of the case and decided to impose bail. Of course, that has been met, the bail conditions had been met, and he had been released on bail. However, my worry does not even seem to be on the bail sum, but seems to be on the drama surrounding his detention, his arrest, his detention, and then the reluctance of the authorities, particularly the police, on releasing him from bail. I feel that well, every citizen of Nigeria has a right to personal liberty, and if he has committed a crime, he should be charged to court. And if the court has granted bail, the police should be without any further delay, they should obey the order of the court in releasing him on bail. And I would say, in disagreeing with the very distinguished retired AIG, that the security at the courts were just unnecessary. It were just unnecessarily sensationalizing the issue and the matter. His crime is not far more, or does not carry far more security implications than many other trials that are going on in the country. And then, in just one court incident, we had the truckloads of police officers preventing family members, preventing lawyers, preventing friends, journalists from accessing the court. And I would say it's unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary. This is the same country where we have security issues everywhere. In Calabar, where we are in the past week, we've had almost 3 or 4 kidnapping incidents, and then yet we are crying of shortage of police personnel. And then, in a particular trial, we'll have a full truckload of police officers preventing people from entering the court and all of that. I just feel that this is just an overkill. It's an overkill. It's an overkill. It's unnecessary. Our infringement of human rights, it's unnecessary. It's totally uncalled for. The way we sensationalize matters, it's unnecessary. And I think we need to do a review. We need to do a review of some of our actions, some of our extrajudicial actions, especially by our police authorities. We've just come out from the NSAS crisis. There's been a call for respect for human rights, respect for the dignity of
speak with us.
Samson
Shoyebi. Samson, thank you so much for joining us. We will talk recession in just a moment. But the federal government and the president indeed says that they will not tolerate another NSAS protest. That has been interpreted in many ways. Some say the president is talking about dialogue, while others say the president is probably making or forming some kind of resistance to even allowing such a protest in the first place. But what do you make of that particular statement from the presidency?
Are you asking me? Hello, can you hear? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, it appears that Samson has probably left the meeting, but AIG, maybe you should probably just respond to that. What do you make about the move by the presidency
Hello?
insisting that another NSAS protest will not be tolerated.
Hello, I'm here. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
All right, Samson, we have
That
you back.
question
Please
is
go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you. What's the question? Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
All right, Samson, the question is very simple. The federal government says another NSAS protest will not be tolerated. Is that what we need at this point in time?
Okay, so the federal government can express their concerns about the NSAS protest, but the power as considered in the Constitution that empowers the people to assemble or associate lies with the Constitution, and the federal government do not have such power to restrict. They can express their concern, but you cannot stop people from associating, especially when it's a peaceful association, especially when the power given to the individual, the freedom given to individuals to assemble has been enshrined in our Constitution. So the federal government can only express their concern. They cannot restrict people entirely. They cannot stop people, most especially when that association is a peaceful one. Most especially when that association has no intent to, or it has no, there is no fact or evidence that says that such association is going to constitute danger or harm to other persons. So for me, the federal government has expressed their concern, they have expressed what they feel it is they want to do, but the people are the electorate, they are the ones who hold the power of this country, and they have the power as enshrined in the Constitution to assemble, to associate, to protest. The president cannot say that people should not protest, especially when I continue to insist that when it is a peaceful protest, the president cannot restrict people from protesting. Mr. President actually protested during Jonathan's regime, and he was protected. The Constitution gives allowance for peaceful protest. Nigerians cannot be gagged at this point. We have the freedom to express our concerns and to speak to authority. Most of us cannot even reach out to our government, our leadership. The only way we can speak to them, and when we have concerns, is through protest. And it is enshrined in the Constitution. So I don't feel that statement of the president is actually, well, is an opinion, but that doesn't mean that Nigerians will honor that. They might not honor that, especially if this protest is going to be a peaceful one. Yes.
Manage the few minutes that we have left, Samson. Now, let me take that question to the retired AIG. Maybe in 20 seconds, you can probably respond to that, plus the fact that AIG, Austin, there are also rumors that some police officers have resigned. I think earlier in the week as well, there was also rumors or speculations that some police officers were kidnapped. What do you make of the state of our security in the nation, and why are the policemen not back on the streets?
Okay, thank you very much. When the federal government said that they will not tolerate any protest again, I think that Nigerians should see it in the context. You see that statement in context, not in the context of general rights of citizens to come out and protest and associate. Moreover, we understand very well that right from when the NSAS protest started, government officials, including the president himself, did say that the young people had the right to protest. But the dimensions in which the protest took created a lot of hardship and problems and violence and destruction of property. I think it is in that context that federal government is, the president is saying that they will not tolerate this kind of protest that led to bloodshed, that led to deaths, that led to destruction and killing of policemen and citizens. I think I see it from that context. Then secondly, Yes, there is no rumor that police officers were kidnapped. It is a fact that 12 officers were kidnapped somewhere in the northeast, and 9 so far as we know have been rescued. It is a fact, not a rumor. And talking about the general security situation, it is frightening. In my own estimation, the security situation is frightening when security agencies, security agents themselves become targets of violence and kidnap. Then we may gradually be inching into some form of anarchy, where the people responsible for providing security cannot even provide security for themselves. And you did talk about why police officers are not going back to work. We need to understand that every Nigerian now has a knee on the policeman's neck. Panels have been set up, judicial panels have been set up all over the place to look into SARS misadventures, SARS violence, and SARS brutality. And we've heard about police reforms, which in my own thinking should bring in some kind of suko to police officers. But nothing has been said about police officers.
And see how we can wrap things up. But let me take this conversation back to the legal practitioner Inyobong. Inyobong, moving forward, maybe in 30 seconds, how do we begin to build trust between the people and the federal government?
Well, I think the federal government will have to be sensitive to the demands and they also have to be sincere. You know, we've had a lot of insincerity coming up. They also have to be sincere. There should also be respect for the citizenry, respect for human rights, and then they should be able to deliver on the promises they have said they will deliver. President Buhari, when he came up with so many promises, and we are yet to see some of those promises being delivered. They should begin to deliver those promises. That will bring more trust and more mutual respect between the government and the governed. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then maybe for the police, I would say we should also respect the recently assented to Police Act 2020. We should have the police stay away from civil actions and breach of contract. And then there should be respect for human rights. When the police respect human rights, we will have less of these incidents and protests. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Inyobong, thank you so much. Gentlemen, we'd like to thank you so much for your thoughts. Legal practitioner from Calabar, the Cross River State Capital, Inyobong Udo. We also had a retired AIG, Austin Uwar from Abuja, the nation's capital. We'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for your time and your thoughts. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we will stay with Samson Shoibe, a chartered economist, as we look at this issue of recession just before we wind down on the show. We're back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. So Nigeria's oil sector actually contracted by 13.89% as COVID-19 plunged the country's economy officially into recession. Samson, what do you make of this news? Just yesterday, on Saturday, it was made official that we have made it into recession. I mean, in 4 years.
Yeah,
this is the second recession in 4 years. I hear it's the worst. How bad is it?
Okay, I think Nigeria is even in a better place compared to organizations like countries like United Kingdom, UK, which its economy this year contracted to the tune of about 20%. And if you see that, what makes a recession is when you have 2 consecutive negative growth. So the first one happened after the second quarter, which was about 6.1%, and the second one now is about 3.62 thereabout. Now, if you also observed, from 6.1% to 3.62% is actually a growth, but the growth did not come off the threshold of a positive growth. That's why it's been deemed as if it's a recession, but officially it's a recession. But if you also observe how our economy has been faring in the last 1 year, from look at the first quarter of 2019, second quarter to third quarter, you will have observed that Nigeria's economy had actually been barely surviving. We've been hovering between 2% and 3% maximum, you know, and it's so bad. Now, I wouldn't blame that entirely on the federal government, because yes, it's been a global economic scenario, but how we react to issues that combated us is what I would like that the federal government actually looked into. Now, when we came into COVID-19, it's evident that COVID-19 is going to impact on our economy. Now, you look at it again. The major inflow of a derivative is the crude oil. And yes, there have been locked down in economies where we sell.
Respond to this in 30 seconds so we can wrap things up. The Social, Economic and Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has actually written an open letter to the President, Muhammadu Buhari, to cut the costs of governance while reacting to the news of recession. Is this a major challenge? I mean, the cost of governance as we look at Nigeria's economy, and what are the ways forward improving our economy?
Okay, so cutting cost of governance is one of the ways to ensure that we survive, because now we can't say we are in recession and still be spending as if we are in abundance. So definitely cost of governance is one of the issues that we have to look at. But beyond that, I think one of the major challenges we have is diversifying our economy from crude oil. That's one. The second that is more like it is the issue of security. Now, if you observe that the government has been trying to diversify the economy from crude oil sales to agriculture, but unfortunately, bulk of our farmers who actually carry out these agricultural activities cannot actually farm without being properly secured. A lot of them had planted earlier, that now when it gets to the point where they have to harvest, they can't even go in. They are confronted with bandits, asking them for ransom, kidnapping them, and they have to run for their life. So we need to make sure that the federal government needs to ensure that while they are reducing cost of governance, they also look at the issue of security in ensuring that people can actually go about their businesses without fear of being kidnapped or being attacked or losing their life in the process. So those are the issues that we need to talk about and keep talking about. And I hope that
we have to wrap up our conversation on that note. We'd like to thank you so much for speaking with Galaxy TV. Ladies and gentlemen, that's about the size of our package. I mean, thank you so much for being on the other side. We'll be speaking with a chartered economist, Samson Shoebi. Earlier, we spoke to guests from Abuja and Calabar, the Cross River State capital. That does it for this edition of Firecrackers. I am Kelly, a giga, and I will see you again next time. Good evening.